Welcome to Healing Beyond the Trauma. My name is Megan Alves. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And this podcast, I want to break the stigma around mental health and have real, unfiltered conversations about healing. Some stories are going to be raw, even triggering at times, but they're real and they're honest because healing starts with honesty. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or like you're carrying it all, you're not. Here, you're going to gain validation, practical tools, and a new perspective to move forward. Because healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming your future. So let's dive in. Hey, and welcome back to another episode. I am Megan Alves, and I have a really exciting conversation for you today. I am so happy to introduce Elisa Fucci, and she is going to talk about breathwork. And before you think that this episode might not be for you, just hang with us for a little bit and let's just have a conversation about what breathwork can do and how to use it because it's much more simple than you think, for one, and two, really impactful. So, Elisa, you are an author, you're a mom, you're a wife, you are a breathwork certified coach, which we'll dive into that specifically. But welcome and thank you so much for coming in and having a conversation with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in. It's a pleasure.
So I met you just to like give the background of how we came about. Atty had you at her event that I spoke at with BU Brand, and you did a breath work exercise with, I don't know how many women were in that room. What do you think? It was at least 40 plus women.
90,
Oh,
what
you think
was
it was
it?
90? Okay.
Was it? Yeah.
It was a
I,
lot of
it,
women.
it was one of the most impactful sessions I've ever held. Yeah.
Yeah, it was big, and, I was so interested to see how a group breathwork practice went, and it was really powerful. There was a lot of emotions released, a lot of big emotions, and oftentimes, if you haven't experienced breath work, right, that can be pretty intense, but at the end, it was closed out beautifully. There was a lot of movement within emotions in a good way. And so I got to hear on the back end, like, oh, I've never experienced that before. Um, and then you and I just keep crossing paths. Like
Yes.
now we get to like see each other nice and sweaty in the gym and just cross paths. Her and I are like throwing the weights around over at our CrossFit gym. So it's just a little avenue of everywhere, right?
Yes, that's
So
true.
and I love it. And she's a beast, y'all, by the way. She's strong. So I've had the pleasure of being able to kind of sit back and kind of see some of your journey. And I think before we talk about breath work and kind of dive in there, can you tell us a little bit about your path of discovering breath work and how it's been impactful for you?
Yes, I would love to. So, I'm an immigrant. My family came here to the US when I was 11.
Oh, wow.
So we came in search of the American dream. And sorry, my accent kicked in there. um, but my life has not been easy. It's been uphill my entire life. I'm the seventh of eight kids.
Mm,
I was a teenager, well, right around 12 when I moved here to the US. So I went through my teenage years trying to learn a new language, just new culture. My parents were working because that's typical of immigrants. You work two jobs. So I never
yeah.
saw my parents. So it was a lot of adjustment, a lot of things going on. I grew up in poverty pretty much. So
Mm,
I had uh, 1 month we had like a bag of potatoes to eat for the whole month, and my mom had to improvise. Like that's kind of like when I say it hasn't been easy, it hasn't been easy.
Yeah. Yeah, a
So,
bag of potatoes for a month. Mom had
yeah,
to get
and family
creative.
of 10. So,
Wow.
eh,
Where did you guys, move from when you came to the US?
Argentina.
Argentina, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's always been difficult, and I my mom is had a very she's gone through so many things in her life. She was abused physically, sexually, mentally, right? Like everything. So
Mhm.
she was raised, I was raised by a victim, right? Like many of us have. So I grew up thinking, oh my gosh, this, victim mentality. It's
Mm,
always us. And then so depression, once, I started having kids, depression came in, and I thought, oh my gosh, one more thing, bring it on, I
yeah.
guess, right? It's
Which is wild. That's so interesting that you say there's some generational, right? How mom did her best and
Mhm.
coming from a lot of abuse, and then your depression showed up after childbirth. And yeah, I don't think we talk about that enough as women. First generation, you're coming in and you're just moving. Like, I got to learn a new language. I got to assimilate somehow. And then it came to a head after you have kids because our hormones change and just so much changes as we have kids. So thank you for sharing that out loud because I think,
Yeah.
oftentimes moms, we just keep pushing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I had signs as a teenager, like I
Mm,
had suicidal thoughts, but again, I was neglected. So I didn't know what to do. So I pushed through it. And it's just
yeah.
kind of like really escalated after having, especially my second child. It escalated and I had to take medication for it, which the medication triggered my anxiety. Yay, another
Oh my
thing.
gosh,
So
yes.
here I was, I was on medication for about 10, 11 years, trying
Mhm.
different things, and they worked for a little bit and then they would stop working, and I would always end up in the same place. I've been doing therapy since I was 15. I tried all different sorts of therapy types. Like I've tried it all.
Yeah.
And yet I found myself still depressed, still not wanting to move forward. I had really, really low lows. And
Mm.
I was sick of it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this. Nothing's working. What the heck? So one day, one of my friends, that I met through one of the book I wrote, she was a co-author,
What was
and
that book titled?
it's
Because there
called
was
Unleash Her.
Unleash Her, yeah, and
Yes,
there's about 20 to 30 very, very
yes,
powerful stories in there. Yeah, so
yes.
one of the ladies that you met during that time.
She was a breathwork facilitator, and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing a monthly breathwork session, and I would love for you to come and join." And I'm like, "Pff, I've been doing therapy since I was 15. You're gonna
What
tell
is
me breathing is going to do something for me and fix things, whatever. This is okay, BS." Like, I don't know if I can swear
right.
now, but I was like, no, whatever. But she was so nice. I was like, okay, I'll support her. I'll go to her class, whatever.
Yes. How
And I
some of
was,
these movie things start, right? Like, "Fine,
yes,
I'll just support her." Yeah.
fine, I'll go. And I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to breathe. Okay, fine. And I had done mindfulness. I had done tapping. I had done energy work. I had done all these different things. And I remember once we started, I, I started like sweating profusely. I was drenched. I was shaking, but by the end of it, I had like this aha moment where I was able to see myself in a whole different light. I was able to see myself at a like spiritual level. I was able to see myself not physically, not with my physical eyes, which is, all the labels, all the trauma. I actually
Yeah.
saw myself for who I really am inside, who the Elisa is. And I was like, I am enough. I
Oh
am
my
worthy.
gosh.
And that didn't last too long, but I was like,
Asterisk. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't last long because, like anything, like exercising or dieting or anything, if you do it once, it's not enough. You're like, okay, I feel okay, but if you don't
Yeah.
consistently do something, you don't reap the benefits. So I was like,
Yeah.
if just breathing created this feeling of like just euphoria and love and peace that no medication, no therapy has been able to achieve, I need to know more. So
Yeah.
I signed up for the next certification that was available through Breathwork Detox. And I went through the certification, and it has completely changed my mind, my life. And I have loved being able to be a vessel to help, to hold space for men and women to let go and leave it all behind and have these moments of clarity, this moments of just feeling at peace. We carry so much, we do so much. And to have that for an hour, to be able to see the light, to see hope, to have an idea, to have a thought, to feel loved for that hour, to me, that has been priceless. To me, that is the biggest just thing I can experience as a facilitator. It's such a blessing to
Yeah.
offer this safe space, and to me sacred, because I have heard so many amazing experience from people that have been able to heal things that they were not able to heal. They say that one session of therapy, one session of breath work can be like 20 years of therapy. Okay, not, and this,
Yeah.
it's without saying a single word, because
Yes.
it is all the subconscious work that you do with the
Yes.
breath, instead of having to dig through it and just talk about it and get your way through all the layers.
Right.
You just kind of allow through the breath to relax your nervous system and let go of whatever it is that you need to let go. So it is so powerful. I just love
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Well, and I
has been
think
a
you said
blessing.
something really important is, you know, that you can move so much with the breath. And it is so true. I mean, there's research behind it. This isn't just wooey stuff that Elisa and I are just saying, "Hey, give this a shot." This is we have science behind it. There's actual research that shows that repetitive breath work in rituals and habits that are formed, because like you said, it's not one of those tools that you can use once and then move from and it heals everything. It really is an active practice. But I often hear there's no way, right, that I can sit there for an hour with my breath. What would you say when somebody has that resistance in the beginning?
Well, the coaching side of me would be like, why? What's so uncomfortable about that?
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it so uncomfortable to sit with yourself and sit with your emotions for that long? What is it so bad about that? But again, I think this is why I love facilitating, because I coach you through the whole time. I I'm like that too. For me, it's hard to just sit still. I couldn't do mindfulness. My brain was thinking so much. I couldn't do mindfulness and just quiet the mind. So breath work is amazing for, especially for us right now, where we're constantly going with our phones everywhere with just that instant gratification. Breath work is amazing to help you with that, because you don't there's I the type of breath work I do has music. So then you have the music in the background, you have my coaching cues to go along with it. So you have plenty of things to keep you entertained and engaged. It's not just my breath. And
Yeah.
it's like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? What am I doing? This is stupid, right? Right? Where we have time for our brains to go. But even if you're not comfortable with that, I think just starting little by little
Mm,
is always helpful. I think there's it's just even 3 minutes of breath work. And if you can't do that, that's okay. Even just
yeah,
doing 3 breaths when you're under stress, when your brain is under like flight or fight or freeze, right? It's like
right.
under stress, like trying to react. Even 3 breaths can just change the rhythm and start sending blood flow to your prefrontal cortex to allow you to
Yeah,
think for a little bit and just take a break. So even just 3 breaths can make a huge difference. It's what kind of breath are you can you use? And the type of breath that I use, there's so many different techniques out there. So many.
right.
You can pick any. The type of breath work that I do, it's 3 parts breath. It's 2 inhales and 1 exhale.
Mm,
And the reason why we do that is because when we're born, babies know how to breathe. If you see, they use their
thank goodness,
belly, they
right?
use their diaphragm, right? If you see animals, that's how they breathe, using their diaphragms. But as we get older, trauma, stress starts tightening us up, and we stop using the full capacity of our lungs. And when we do that, we can't detoxify our bodies. That's
Right,
why we have so many gut issues nowadays, because our body's not detoxifying. It's all getting stuck in our bodies, and we don't know how to process emotions. Oh my gosh, building on top of that, and that it's just, and our bodies always keep score.
right.
That our bodies never forget. Unless we process it, they'll hold on to everything. So as we get older, we start getting tighter and tighter, and we start breathing through our chest. And so that reduces the oxygen. So when we go 2 breaths in and 1 breath out, we are kind of putting in more oxygen than what we need. And
Yeah,
we do it through the mouth, which is a bigger space for oxygen to come in. So then we are oxygenating our bodies and giving it more to push all those toxins out and get all those stagnant energies out. And we also use our belly, and it's all through the belly, pushing it out and in, out, all through the belly. So that allows us to activate our lungs,
yeah,
detoxifying our lungs, our gut, our belly, which is like the second brain. It's called a second brain for a reason, because
right.
that's where we create the happy hormone, right? That's how we are happy. That's how we are healthy. It's all generated there. So the moment we start activating those energies there, we feel an instant gratification.
Yeah,
That's why it's so powerful. That's why I love this type of
yeah.
breath work.
Well, I've had quite a few people, even in my practice, because I definitely know the power of breath work as a clinical therapist. But with that being said, some of that resistance, right? And you even touched on it. Am I doing it right? Am it's so hard to move out of our heads sometimes and out of our way enough to just allow a practice like this to come into play. And I think that that's really important. And for those of you that are just listening, if you can come back on the YouTube side, because even as you were just talking about how we're breathing under stress, I can visibly see, and we all do this, right? Our whole body comes inward. There's so much tension happening when we are under stress. And oftentimes, I mean, I probably hear it every day that I'll end the session, we'll do some breath work, and they're like, I did not realize how much I needed that, or I did not realize how
Uh-huh.
much my shoulders were in my ear, or how upset my stomach was. We get so busy that we forget to check in with the things that thankfully, and I work with a lot of high functioning women, that if we had to function and tell our bodies to breathe, we would probably say, that's too much work. I have too many other things to do. And we wouldn't be here any longer because we are just in a society that is moving so fast that it is. And I even want to use the word empowering to be able to learn and maybe for the first time for some people to learn how to give permission to slow down and
Mhm.
get in tuned with our body so that our whole body, I mean, if you think about your body keeping the score, if we are constantly under this stress, and of course we're not going to walk around like this, because then gosh, people are going to know that I'm stressed. Like I'm going to walk around like this and everything else is, stretched, or I'm breathing very shallow, and our
Mhm.
body just starts to get trained in this way of functioning under high stress. And you and I, before, we started recording, we touched base on, kind of how this stuff has helped. And one of the things that we talked about is that we were both working in environments that were so high stress that it wasn't until we made the commitment to leave the environment that we realized how much our bodies were not functioning at its capacity. So, for those of you that are like, I'm fine, but I'm using substances, or I'm not sleeping at night, or my stomach's constantly upset, or I'm, barking at my kids when I want to respond. These are all beautiful signs that breath work can come in as a huge help to get back to your body, because more than likely, many of us are functioning and our body's just doing whatever it can to survive in the environment that we've placed it in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's it was designed to do that, but eventually it will catch up to you. And this is the saddest part because years later, it starts manifesting. It will catch up. It will.
Yeah.
It's just it just does. So
Yeah.
learning I that what I one of the things I love about breath work is that it pushes you to confront everything we push aside to the side on a daily basis, which is our emotions, the physical discomforts or manifestations of those emotions, and our thoughts. Most of the times we're just go, go, go. We forget to just pay attention to, okay, how's this making me feel? How is it sitting in my body? And where is it coming from? Why do I believe this? Where is it like, what is this feeling creating and where is it coming from? Most of the times we don't take the time to do that. So
I think all
breath
of those
work
that you just
pushes
said should
us.
be, like, put into journal prompts for us on a daily basis, and this is coming from our, parents, to our teens, to our preteens, to our first responders and military, right? Like, if that block of question, if we can rewind and highlight that block of questions, if we can put that in a journal prompt for those of you listening every day, imagine what curiosity you can bring to the body, right? Like those are such beautiful questions that you leave us with. And I think if we can check in with those questions, like that's something that should really be highlighted, because many of us forget to check in with ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, we're just so used to go, 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 and we forget that's how we forget to feel our emotions, to process them, to see why we make the decisions that we make, and
Mm,
then we get mad that things don't turn out, but we never took the time to actually see, why did I do that? Well, it's because
yeah,
I believe this about myself or because I believe this about someone else.
yeah,
I think it's just learning our beliefs. It starts with learning how to tune into your body and how to allow ourselves to feel the emotions. And emotions, I mean, they last 90 seconds the most. That's
right.
it. The only reason why they live longer in our bodies is because of our thoughts. It's because
Exactly.
we keep reliving them with the belief that's attached to that. But an emotion is just energy. It's energy that's meant to go through our body and exit our body. The moment we don't process it, we shove it, we resist it, or we put it away, it gets stuck and it's an energy. It's just we are energetic beings. Everybody knows that. We can create voltage with our bodies. We have energy flowing through our bodies. And the moment we start not processing our emotions, it's like a car crash, right? In the
Mm,
freeway, it starts creating blockages.
yeah.
And then traffic can't go through. And that's where you start feeling tightness. Oh, my back hurts. My shoulders, I've been having this neck pain, or my hands hurt. My feet hurt. Well, why? I believe, and what I teach all my clients is all we have your body holds emotions and energy in parts of your body. And if you learn where each how to be tuned into your body, you can see, oh, this is where, like, my body's at, like, this is what I'm feeling. Like, your throat is anything that has to do with yourself, any
Mm,
beliefs attached to yourself. Your chest is sadness, right? Your back is guilt. Your hands is the ability to let go or hold on too tight. There's like all
mhm.
these places in your body where we hold emotions that are not processed. So breath work is an amazing way to get back in a relationship with your body and start listening and facing the things we avoid on a regular basis. And yeah, not
Yeah,
everybody wants to do that.
right.
Not everybody wants to look at their emotions and feel them and see what they created. Not everybody wants that. That's why this work is not for everybody.
Well,
But
and I would even say, right, like, I don't know, and I could speak for myself, and I would love to hear your side of this too. I don't know where I would be without some level of attunement getting back to my body, listening to my body, responding to its needs, um, ta giving myself permission to slow down and pause and take deep breaths, and it hasn't just been in areas of, like, functioning under stress or, um, functioning under, like, decision making or parenting, or and I'll even add in there, or in the gym, right? Like, when you're in a heavy workout, if you're not in tune with your body, it is really hard to
oh yeah.
push through, right? It's hard to breathe through, but mindset and breath work is huge in the gym. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, when I say, like, I'm not sure where I would be, what would you say to that for what it's
I'll
done for
tell
you?
you. I'll tell you where I would be. I would be addicted to a substance. I would either be overweight or injured more than I have been, because
Yes.
again, like, I go all out at the gym. And I was raised by a mom that she just gives her whole life. She'll take her shirt off to give it to someone. So that's my model for, like, you go, 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 no matter what.
Yeah.
So it took me 30 plus years to realize, wait, I need to listen to my body. And it took me injuries to
Right.
realize I'm in a relationship with my body. My body's here to help me and assist me in my spiritual growth in this life and development. So if I continue to ignore it
Mm,
or override it, I'm not going to end up well. And so, but yes, it took me several injuries to realize I need to start working hand in hand with my body. But you have to build that relationship by slowly learning how to trust yourself again and keeping those small commitments that you make to yourself on a
oh,
daily
that's huge.
basis. Just those little commitments that you say you're going to do, or those check-ins, those daily check-ins that you do with your body, is just little building blocks to that relationship that you want to have, so your body can trust you and you can trust your body, because it's a two-way street. And depending on how many years you've been ignoring yourself, that's how long it takes to rebuild that trust. But I think I would be addicted to a substance. I
Yes.
wouldn't, like, I don't know where I would be, especially in the field that I was in. I was in law enforcement, surrounded by uh, criminals, and so I was in a high stress environment, and I saw the other officers and how they managed that.
Yeah.
80% of them drink and
Right.
go home, drink. There's substance abuse, there's infidelity, they because they don't know how to process it. And thankfully, because I had breath work, because I have the coaching skills, I was able to go before I got home, use all my tools to process that. But
Yeah.
if I had not had those tools, it would easily
Yeah.
it's just go to something instant gratification, instant
Right.
hit of dopamine. It's just, okay, what feels good right now, because I have been feeling under so much stress,
Mhm.
and I need something that feels good right now. and
Yeah.
we tend to go to the easiest thing, which is foods, alcohol, just instant, what feels good, instead of let's sit with our emotions. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
If
And in the clinical world, I often hear the term a quick fix, right? Because sitting with emotions takes time, it takes a lot of work,
it's
and
uncomfortable.
and it is uncomfortable. But I think what's so beautiful about resisting the quick fix and going for the long term is thinking about longevity.
Hmm.
How is this going to help me in the long run, right? The drink tonight is going to help me manage the stress for today. But what is that going to do to my body? What is that going to do with these patterns moving forward? And especially, what is this going to train my brain to be able to manage? And I think, oftentimes that's the disconnect that comes because as soon as we start to wire, we've talked a lot about the body keeping the score. But when our brain starts to wire of how to manage stress, our body and our brain is going to do the best that it can. And
Hmm.
so, this is why when we talk about alcoholism, when we talk about drugs, I have not met somebody yet. I mean, maybe that woke up one morning and they were like, you know what, I want to fuck up my life by having a drink every night and getting addicted to this drug. Not once have I met somebody in my years of doing clinical work that woke up and just said that they wanted to do that. It was, I wasn't sure how to manage, or this was what my brain was telling me was going to help me feel better.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it was hard for the brain to see long term because it was the quick fix in the moment. It was the best tool at the moment. But I think this conversation really highlights, yes, you can choose the quick fix. You're more
Yeah.
than you're welcome
Yeah.
to choose the quick fix, but what is that? Please ask yourself, what is that going to do in the long term? How are you going to continue to manage? Because life is definitely going to keep getting stressful, right? That's the inevitable. Life is stressful. There's stressful moments, but it's the way that we manage it. And you said something really important that I want to be back in. How we talk to ourselves of our abilities is going to impact how we respond to those stressors. So fight, flight, freeze, fawn is going to come in, and depending on what's activated, if alcohol is the go-to or food is the go-to, then we're going to just numb how we're feeling. We're going to tap out of those things. We're going to get the dopamine hit. There's no solution. There's no capabilities higher than that when the substances come in. Where breath work, one of the things that, especially, and I'll just talk on, since you and I got to do a breath work exercise in a large group, the clarity that comes after breath is huge.
Hmm.
And solutions can happen, and a greater understanding can happen, and a bigger self love can happen after serious breath work. And I think that those are such amazing gifts outside of quick fixes that really needs to be heard. And that's why, highlighting this conversation is so, in my eyes, it's very impactful. And for those listening, I hope that you're taking a moment to just get curious about breath work and realize that it doesn't have to be perfect,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
you don't have to do it alone. I mean, Elisa is here as a breathwork coach. There are therapists that, a few handful of them that are trained in this area that utilize it because we need the brain and body connection. And if your therapist hasn't presented it and you've been in therapy for a long time, ask questions, get curious. And if your therapist isn't in the knowing for it or hasn't had, that's okay, but there are avenues to learn breath work. So, with that being said, what would you say? What, for those listening and they're like, okay, give me a starting point. Where would you start someone out?
I would do the nearest type of breath work that I would do is cyclical breathing. And you can do it through the nose or through the mouth, whatever you're comfortable with. And again, it's two inhales, one exhale. But this time, you're going to take an inhale through the nose, hold it for a second, squeezing another inhale, and then slowly release the exhale. She's doing 3 of those. Oh my gosh, like, just amazing. So, like, I already feel so much
Oh
better.
my gosh.
3
Even
of
as you were just
those.
showing it, I was,
Yeah.
like,
It's just
mimicking
like
it. I'm like, "Yes."
3 of those. It
Yeah.
just brings your brain online instead
Mhm.
of, like, having the just being reactive. You get to decide what you wanna do. Instead of being the emotions in charge of your life, you get to be in charge of your body, your life, whatever you decide to do. I think that's just that quick 3 little breaths are so helpful just to see things from a different perspective. And it just elevates you a little bit higher so you can
Mhm.
have like a view of, okay, I'm not right here where, when the emotions are right there, they're in front of your face, you can't see past your nose. Just having those little breaths can actually help you lift your sight a little bit so you can be like, okay, wait, there might be an exit that way. There might be a solution this way. I think I can do this. Okay, we got this. Like just
Mm.
quick little three
Yeah.
breaths.
Yeah. And let's say that someone's listening and saying, "I still have some resistance," right? We kind of peppered in a little bit about the gym, and I have a lot of clients around me who, like, I'll let it out at the gym, I'll keep going at the gym. What do they do with their breath when they're at the gym?
Ooh, like the type of breathing that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
if
don't we
you
aren't we naturally doing some of this in the gym, right? To
yes,
push through,
breath
to
work is
bear
so
down?
important. Yeah, the breathing is it's key to how you recover, how your heart manages the stress that you're putting it under. So it is so important to manage your breath while you're exercising. It helps you push better. It helps you activate the muscles better. It is key to how you perform at the gym, how you lift. It's amazing how the change it can create. So I think look at how pay attention to how you're breathing at the gym. Are you holding in your breath? What are you doing? Like, cause that, I mean, I think how we breathe reflects on how we tackle things in life. If we are not, if we're restrictive, if we're not really flexible, we're not in the flow, we're very strict with ourselves, strict with others. So just how notice how you're breathing at the gym. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think the best way is to always try to control your breath, like focus on the breathing while you're exercising. But that's been my main focus as I've learned, as I've tried to combine those two. But breath work has definitely helped the capacity of my lungs and helped me perform better aerobically uh,
Yeah.
in at the gym, like cardiovascular wise. Like it's just been, I've seen a huge impact on how I perform because of breath work.
Yeah.
So it
So I
helps.
hope we leave those of you listening a little bit more curious. Like, this isn't just the wooey side. This isn't even and the scientific side, but this is going to help performance, for your physical health, emotional well-being. And so hopefully a few of these nuggets, and Elisa just shared with us how to just take those really intentional breaths, and 3 of them, if those of you that even, I mean, when you were practicing just talking about it, I was, like, practicing it with you, right? Try and get curious, and I would venture to say, and we would love to hear how it helped those of you listening, and I would venture to say, if you check in with yourself, if you're like a gym goer, you're doing some breath work at the gym already. So, just tap into it.
Yeah,
Like, and reach out to Lisa to learn more and dive in deeper and get a full practice with you, right?
I
And I'll make
love
sure
that.
to put your contact in there of how to reach you. Where else, for those listening, where can they find you? Where are you active? On any socials?
Mostly Instagram. So
Okay.
if you can look me up, Elisa Fucci, ELISAFUCCI coaching. You can look me up there on Instagram, and my links are on my bio. where you can
Perfect.
see testimonials, learn all about breathwork, whether it's for you or not. If you have any questions, they're all answered in the website. And
It's true.
if you want to book a session or get a package, you can. Those are all options available. If you are in the area, I even offer group sessions. I've had family members that have gone through a loss and want to
Mm.
heal together as a family, and who have hired me as to facilitate their healing through breath work. And it has been an amazing
Wow.
experience for everyone. So I offer group coaching, groups, breathwork sessions as well. So, yeah, if you have any questions, the best way is on Instagram. That's where I'm at, and the link in my
Perfect.
bio.
Yeah, thank you. And the last question I want to ask you, if you were to say a motto or, a quote that tends to help you drive through, what would you leave us with today?
Ooh, okay. I have a bunch of quotes here, like on my little
Oh,
that
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about which one I like, but there's this one that says, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that didn't work."
Mm. Yeah, because
Yeah.
failure is giving up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
it's just you haven't failed. If you think you have done it wrong, it's just that didn't work. So,
Try a
let's
different
try
way.
again. Let's
Yeah.
try again. And
I
that goes
love
with
that.
everything. That goes with relationships, with jobs, with careers, with things that you're working on. That
Yeah.
didn't work. So that means there's something else you need to learn. There's another way to heal, another relationship to learn from. So, yeah,
I love that. Thank you so much for spending time with us today and giving us some actual tangible tools. Now we can say that we know how to practice the little surface of some breath work. And yeah, just thank you so much for your
you're
time today and the
welcome.
work that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you gained what you needed to hear today. Healing isn't about erasing the past, it's about the strength of moving forward. If today's episode resonated with you, take a moment to share it with someone you love, because when we share with love, we help to break the stigma together. If you want to connect with me and learn more about what we're doing over at Mental Summit to break these stigmas, please connect with me over at mymentalsummit.com. Keep showing up, keep growing, keep going together, and remember you're not alone in this.